Back at Meador Park in Springfield, we are ready for the first Class 4 semifinal game against Liberty High School and Rockwood Summit. Liberty will bat first. They're the visiting team on a cool day here. And June starts off cool as we take a look at the way they got the Final Four. David, Liberty, they're familiar with the path. 27 wins to get to this point.
Well, you look at the 27 wins. This is the best season since back in 2003. Liberty has 27 wins on the year, 3 losses, and 3 of those losses, 2 of them came to one team, Lee Summit. So Coach Kirk Bragg is definitely very happy with his team so far, and they're eager to get this game going.
Got to beat your Rockers Chocolates to get to the Final Four. Kirk Bragg is the head coach, who will be doing duties down at third base. He is a Liberty High School graduate. Leading off, Wes Jones, a senior left fielder. One of the many players on this team to go on to play at the college level. First pitch by Quaysbarth is high for ball 1. When you look at last year's team that played in the finals and this year's team, 13 guys headed to college.
That's impressive. You normally don't see that too often on a high school baseball team, but Coach Bragg has coached his kids up well, looking to move on, and that's an impressive number when you have 13 guys.
Quaysbarth is behind the count. Jones, a .384 hitter, takes ball 3, and you know, when we talked to both head coaches, Ken Draghi in particular said, I'm hoping after the first pitch the guys settle down, but maybe the pitcher hasn't taken a breath yet. And he finally pounds the strike zone. It's 3-1.
Well, with Quaysbarth early in the year, he struggled in the first half of the season, and Coach said that he just walked too many guys, so he's starting out a little rough early, but let's see if he bounces back.
3-1 pitch, ripped over the shortstop and a base hit. Liberty begins the game with a solid single. They have a base runner to begin things here in the top of the first.
Well, Wes Jones is a scary guy to let lead off. This kid has 23 stolen bases already on the season, 23 for 26 on stolen bases.
Take a look at Liberty's batting order. Lineup that Kirk Bragg will start here in the semifinals. The one thing that might jump out is, out of both teams, there's only 2 left-handed batters, Todd Hinckley and Taylor Ullman. That said, everybody else hits from the right-hand side. The second hitter headed for Simpson College is Taylor Harmon, the second baseman, a .352 hitter with a good eye. He's walked 13 times this year, and he looks at ball 1 as well.
Well, the key to Quaysbarth early in this game, he wants to get ahead of hitters, so they hit on his terms. You see that leadoff batter, he dropped down 3-1, starting out 1-0 in this count. He has to start filling up the strike zone and get himself in better situations.
Squaring around the bunt and able to drop it down nicely. Harmon doing his job with a sacrifice as Wes Jones is in scoring position at second base with 1 out, and Nathan Winfrey, good-looking junior, coming up next.
Little small ball action out of Liberty. He said, Coach Bragg said he will play small ball if he has to. Number 2 just doing a nice job, just laying it down to the third base side. Third baseman does a great job coming up, throwing, get the easy out. Runner in scoring position for their big hitter, number 10, Winfrey.
Winfrey, a .472 hitter, 26 RBIs, and this Liberty team scored a ton of runs over the past couple of years, and you're right, they will play small ball. They'll hit and run. They'll bunt, they'll move runners. There's a snap throw to second base. Jones fought about third base, but a good job that time by the center fielder, Evans, paying attention to make sure there was no advance.
That's always a scary moment when you're the head coach and you see yourself doing a pickoff move and throwing it in the outfield, but Evans does a great job of crashing in and holding that runner at second base. Hopefully Quaysbarth can settle down here and get ahead of the batter.
Winfrey, the number 3 hitter, looks at strike 1. Big for a shortstop, and his coach, Kirk Bragg, expects him to play in college somewhere, but that decision is down the road. He doesn't have an idea yet. The first time Quaysbarth ahead of the count, working 0-1.
I think Quaysbarth heard me talking about the runner having that 23 stolen base attempts, but Liberty has stolen 100 bases this season.
Way outside. Last team to win a state title, Liberty Blue Jays back in 2002 pulled it up. First team from Kansas City to win a title in Class 4 was Blue Springs in 2007. Quaysbarth comes home. At a ground ball left side, and it sneaks through for the base hit. May not able to keep it on the infield, and Liberty has runners at first and third with just one man out.
Rockwood's not in a terrible position right there. They get the runner at third and hold him there. They're still at a double play opportunity here. Nice little ball. He hangs it up there and roll over in between third and short. Comes up, hits his cutoff man, holds that runner there, creating a double play opportunity. But Liberty seems to get the bats started early and often.
Yeah, you saw Rudy May at third base, and not that Rockwood Summit wants to make any kind of a pitching change, but he most likely would be the first man out of the bullpen to come in. Todd Hinckley is a senior. He is the catcher, and he looked at strike one. Hinckley, a .360 hitter, undecided on college, but a couple of good possibilities. Central Missouri, Rockhurst, two very, very solid programs in our area.
Well, Hinckley's their big guy. He has 6 home runs. He's the team leader, so this is the guy they want up in a situation to drive in some runs.
So over to first base, and a pickoff move, and he got him. So the hit and run might have been on there, and the runner was leaning, Winfrey leaning towards second, and Quaysbarth got him.
And that's frustrating as a coach because it didn't look like he was going to do a steal attempt right there. He was just getting an early little shuffle break, and they caught him off guard. And what a turn of events right there for Rockwood.
Well, completely changes the complexion of this inning from first and third with only one out to runner at third base with 2 outs, and the hitter now in a hole 0-2.
Quaysbarth, you're going to get a fastball changeup combination. He will show a curveball slider. It's more of a slider, but primarily he's going to throw a fastball changeup mix at you.
This Liberty team with 5 all-conference players fouled back right at us into the screen. It remains 0-2. Schwant, Hinckley, Harmon, Winfrey, and Jones, first team all-conference in the Suburban Big Six. A couple on the second team, Lucas Norton and Rob Henricks, who will pitch on Saturday. He's already signed with Northwest Missouri State. The 0-2 pitch hit in the air should not be a problem. Evans in center field, waiting, and squeezes it, and Rockwood Summit works out of trouble. Quaysbarth facing first and third with only one out, gets out of a jam with no damage done. Falcons coming up to bat in the bottom of the first. Back in a moment. Back at Meador Park in Springfield with David Belfonte, I'm Dave Stewart. It's the bottom of the first inning. Rockwood Summit able to work out of trouble. A couple of base hits collected by the Blue Jays in the top half of the first inning, but no damage done. Spencer Schwant is the starting pitcher for Liberty as we look at Coach Draghi. And maybe the coach has been able to inhale and exhale a couple of times as well. I said, how'd you sleep last night? I didn't sleep last night. And, you know, that's one of the things. It's you just worry and suffer. And there is the Rockwood Summit lineup from top to bottom. One of the players to keep an eye on, Clayton Evans, the leadoff hitter who was signed with Southeast Missouri, a very, very good player. He'll get things started. There's center fielder bats first.
Well, we're going to take a look at Spencer Schwant today. This is his second time at the Final Four. He led his team to back-to-back state title runs here. In 2011, he was 6-0, and in 2012, he's posting a 7-0 record, so not too shabby right there.
And you go back to Liberty's title game a season ago, losing to Francis Howell 10-5, committing 7 errors that day. And one of the things that's going to be very important for that team is to think nothing about that. You know, it's a different year. We're a different team.
Hey,
we're going to be solid defensively. Make one play, then make another.
It starts all over.
Clayton Evans, a .404 hitter. Now we get to the Final Four. Swings through a pitch, down 0-1.
Clayton's one of those leadoff guys that you'd like to see get on base early. He has 17 stolen bases on the year, which leads the team. So if you're Liberty, this is a guy that you definitely want to keep off the base paths.
Schwant throws low. He is headed to Washburn University in Topeka. And he will take a teammate with him, which sometimes it just helps you feel comfortable, doesn't it?
It
I'm going to go
helps.
someplace where I know somebody as we can set the defense for you behind Schwant. Liberty 27-3. Lucas Norton, we'll talk more about him offensively, but we talk about strength up the middle. He's the center fielder. Winfrey Harmon at short and second. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. The catcher will have to throw down to complete the out. Hinckley to Ullman, and one man gone.
Well, with Schwant, you're going to get a mix of pitches. He's a 3-pitch guy. He's a fastball, curveball, changeup. You see a little curveball action here. It's a 12-6er. It's going to go straight up and down. He mixes his pitches up well. He's about an 83 to 84 mile-an-hour fastball guy, so he's not going to blow it by you, but his fastball definitely speeds up because of the off-speed he throws.
Kyle Younger digs in. He is a second baseman for the Falcons. 17-9. The Falcons out of Fenton, Missouri, which is the St. Louis area. Of course, Liberty just north of Kansas City. And he takes strike 1. Rockwood Summit advancing to the Final Four after big wins over Vianney and Parkway South along the way. A roller to shortstop. Ball comes up. The throw across in time. Winfrey to Ullman, and there's 2 up, 2 down.
Well, the one thing I look for in this game is just to see how the infielders react to these ground balls. You're going to get mixed reads on these ground balls. The infield seems a little rough. I was watching Winfrey take infield during pregame, and he had a couple of rough bounces, so definitely a good sign for Liberty to see him make a field clean.
Ball stayed flat till that last hop.
Oh, yeah.
High fastball swung and missed by Matt Kasinger, the designated hitter. Schwant working quickly. Off speed, misses 1-1.
Kasinger posting a .411 hitting average. That's the team leader right there. So you're doing something right to be putting up that high of an average.
Staves off speed, and pitch stays up, and it's 2-1. Ken Draghi has done a nice job this year getting Falcons at this point. That ball fouled out of play. Draghi teaches in the middle school in the district, which is a little bit of a challenge sometimes to not be able to keep an eyeball on kids in the building over the course of the day. There he is, and we enjoyed a conversation with him. He doesn't look like he didn't sleep, but he says, trust me, I didn't sleep.
Well, what's interesting about his situation is that not only does he get to coach these kids during the springtime, but he gets them during the summertime also. So these kids come back, he gets to coach them during the summer. They do off-season workouts together and everything, so he's familiar with these kids.
3-2 pitch is low at a base runner. First time is Matt Kasinger, which will bring up the cleanup hitter, Eric Beisel, the left fielder. And our understanding, he's not just a good baseball player, he's a whole lot more.
With Kasinger on first, you could pretty much say that he's going to stay right there. He doesn't have a stolen base on the year, so it gives Schwant the opportunity to go ahead after the hitter and work on him.
Schwant out of the windup to the stretch for the first time, and he gets strike 1, quickly works ahead. This is a Quaysbarth hitting. I beg your pardon on the order. Breaking ball misses, and it's 1-1.
Well, you're going to get a lot of breaking pitches from Schwann. I got the opportunity to watch him pitch against Rockhurst in the quarterfinals, and he pitches backwards. And what I mean by that is he'll throw a lot of off-speed and fastball counts just to keep the hitters off guard.
Staves off speed and falls behind the count. It's 2-1.
If you're Quaysbart right here, I'd set my timing for a fastball and look to square that pitch up because he's missed on back-to-back off-speed pitches. Doesn't want to give up another base runner, so look for a good pitch to hit. 320
on the year 8 doubles, and he looks at ball 3. And Todd Hinckley will walk to the mound and have a conversation. Schwann made it look really easy the first couple of hitters before getting in trouble with Kay Singer, putting him on first base with a walk.
Veteran decision right there by the senior catcher Hinckley to go out there and maybe settle his pitcher down a little bit. Tell him to slow things down to find the ball or find the zone a little bit, but not to give away free bases.
Check of the runner. Able to bury the fastball in the strike zone. Count goes full again for the second batter in a row.
Look for Kasinger right here to be on the move with a full count and 2 outs.
And the 3-2 offering hit to first base and grab for the third out. Ullman able to reach toward the foul line. And a runner is stranded for the Falcons as we are scoreless after 1. Liberty coming up to bat for the second time in a 0-0 tie with Rockwood Summit. Back in a moment. Back at Meador Park in Springfield with David Belfonte. I'm Dave Stewart. We're happy to be able to bring you the Missouri Class 2 semifinals here, Liberty and Rockwood Summit. It's Kansas City versus the St. Louis area. Leading things off here, Lucas Norton fouls off the first pitch. Norton had a couple of huge home runs down the stretch here against Winnetonka, and then sectionals. Rockhurst is actually a quarterfinal win with key home runs in both games.
His home run in the quarterfinal game actually gave Liberty a late lead, which eventually led them on to the game winner. So he's definitely played a huge part in the playoffs so far this year.
Misses inside. Count goes to 1-1. Norton will play at KCK Community College next year. One of the talented seniors on this team. Quaysbarth down in the zone, lifted to center field. Evans squeezes it for out number 1.
Well, Evans is getting a workout, whether it's a fly ball or backing up a base on a pickoff, but he's definitely getting some action there in center field today.
You know, that's what guys want. They want to be involved in the game much better than having nothing happen at all.
There's a lot of standing time in baseball, so if you could ever be a part of it, you're definitely you're a happy guy out there.
Taylor Ullman, left-handed hitting first baseman, a senior hitter to Washburn with Spencer Schwann, takes the first pitch for a ball, and it's 1-0. Ball, big chopper over to first base. Fritz will step on it quickly. We have 2 outs.
Well, if you're Coach Draghi and Rockwood Summit, you're definitely happy the way Quaysbarth has settled down. He's starting to throw strikes early in the count. In the first inning, he got a little away from him early, but he seems to be settling down, and he's filling up the strike zone and doing a great job. First 2 hitters up and getting them put to the side.
Andy Reith will bat with 2 outs and nobody on base. The senior third baseman is a .418 hitter coming into the final 4. Swung, backhanded by the shortstop. Meador over to Fritz. Quickly, 3 up, 3 down. Quaysbarth has found his groove. We are scoreless in the middle of the second. Rockwood Summit coming up to hit the second time at Meador Park in Springfield.
Last year's tournament official programs are on sale now, so get them while they last.
We are scoreless in the bottom of the second inning. Rockwood Summit getting a second at bat here against Liberty. With David Belfani, I'm Dave Stewart. Eric Beisel, left fielder, will start things off here for the Falcons. And if he looks like a football player who plays baseball or a baseball player who might play football, you're right on both counts. This is a heck of a football player and a good baseball player too.
Absolutely. Stands in at 6'3", 235 pounds. I try to size him up during pregame, and his biceps are the size of my thighs.
First pitch ripped toward left field, and it will fall in safely for a base hit. Falcons getting their first hit of the game with the first pitch in the bottom of the second inning.
Looking for a pitch up in the zone early, and Beisel gets it, and when you're that strong, you don't have to hit it square. He gets enough of the barrel on the ball to drive it to left field and to lead off the inning for Rockwood Summit. Leadoff man on.
And Jones probably doing the right thing. One of those kind of an in-between plays where he would have really had to hustle in, and if you make some kind of a headlong dive and don't get there, the ball is past you. Nick Bamvakis will bat second, drops down a bunt nicely. Indecision at first base, but it rolls all the way to the bag, and he beat it out. Bamvakis gets a base hit on what was intended to be a sacrifice bunt.
Well, the first baseman, Ullman, does it right. He doesn't, if you're not going to commit to the ball early, you go straight to the bag, and he did that. The only problem is the ball just kept rolling to him, and Schwant just couldn't get there in time. And when you have speed heading down the baselines and running as hard as he is, it's tough for him all, but he just bobbled it there a little bit at the end, and tough call or tough break for Liberty.
Jacob Meador bats with 2 outs, 2 on and nobody out. Our umpiring crew for today: Eddie Duggar behind home plate, Corey Gilpin is at first, Johnny Fry on the third base side. And these umpires recognized for terrific work that they've done over the course of the regular season. And all of the games that I've been watching here so far, they've done a terrific job.
If you're Liberty, you're looking for a sacrifice bunt possibly again, and this one will be directed to the third base line.
Schwant again looks, and another bunt opportunity, and he's unable to pick it again. Ullman can't make the play, and the bases are loaded on a second straight bunt. That's trouble on the first base side, and an error will be charged to Ullman.
We talked about it last year. It was errors that hurt Liberty, and it seems like it's starting all over here, but just the guy doing his job. Rockwood just playing small ball, sacrificing runners over, and the breaks are happening for him right now.
Now, it was kind of that spot of the field where he's probably thinking, if I field that cleanly, I'm going to tag him rather than throw to the second baseman covering.
And it was just simply, the runner's heading down the line so fast, I think he just pulled up a little too early, forgot the baseball on the ground, and, you could understand, but so 2 sacrifice bunt opportunities for Liberty to get easy outs and unsuccessful at both. It leaves Rockwood in a great position with bases loaded and no outs.
Well, you see the visit, the conference at the mound. Kirk Bragg going out more than strategy, maybe just to let everybody settle down for just a moment. Bases loaded here. Nobody out, bottom of the second inning. It's a scoreless game, and Ryan Fritz, the first baseman, will bat with a lot of opportunities here to get a run home. You see the men on the corners, first and third, playing just on the grass.
It's a great opportunity, like you said, for Fritz, the sophomore, to put his team on the scoreboard early.
Middle infield will play for the double play ball, but they are in on the grass, first and third. Out of the stretch. And the ball is fouled out of play. Surprised that he's going stretch, not wind up?
It's one of those situations where you want to do whatever most comfortable for your pitcher in this situation. I don't mind either way. Obviously, Schwant, maybe he just doesn't realize he could go through the windup right now, but if he feels more comfortable in the stretch, more power to him, and he gets to kind of pick freely on his own there.
0-1, lined up the middle to second base, 6 and 3. They do turn the double play, and a run will score, and Kirk Bragg will take that, trading a run for 2 outs.
That's the idea. You have the corners play in on a situation like that. If a hot comebacker comes out, you go home there, but you play your middle infield deep in double play territory, Justin, and it worked out perfect for him right there. And you sacrifice giving up a run for 2 outs right there, and Schwant did his job on getting the ground ball double play, and back to work he goes.
Jack Quick, the catcher, will bat with Bam Vakas at third base, and a 1-0 lead for the Falcons here. Spencer Schwant, his dream scenario would be to limit the damage, minimize the damage, having faced bases loaded with nobody out. Swings through a fastball, it's 1-1.
The one thing I do like about Schwant that's just kind of pointing out to me early is he has a good pace working. He gets the ball, gets right back on the mound, and he's right back to work. And when you're a defensive corner, when you're a defensive player, you like when a pitcher's like that because your attention stays on what's going on at the batter's box, so your attention just doesn't wander.
And maybe one of the advantages of being out of the stretch in that other situation was on a line drive up the middle where the shortstop is able to squeeze it for the third out. Winfrey there is going out of the stretch. You don't have as much pressure on the turn at second base, maybe just that split second. 1-0 Rockwood Summit.
Dangerous. All spectators should remain alert at all times. Please return all foul balls. Thank you and enjoy the game.
1-0 Rockwood Summit leads Liberty in the top of the third inning. And when Liberty played for the title last year in Missouri Class 4, they had 7 errors, but defense gets him out of a big jam here, David.
He had bases loaded right there with no outs. He gets himself a double play ball, getting it to his second baseman, Harmon to Winfrey for the double play, and really getting himself out of a scary situation.
And a big target over there at first base to stretch and squeeze and complete the double play. This is Jacob Francis, the designated hitter, who's been out a while. Yeah, he's hitting 1,000. He's played very little because of car accident at the beginning of the season. He is lucky in so many ways.
Yeah, it was about February, March, time, and he was in a car accident where his car flipped. He was caught inside the car, and Coach told us that he actually ripped his seatbelt to peer himself loose. And I guess when you're that big and that strong, you have the capabilities of doing that, but scary situation for him. Great to see him back on the field.
Francis being heavily recruited in football. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-2, but Gary Pinkel, one of the many coaches taking a look at him, and the big thing is just his health, the fact that he was able to recover. He did not swing the appeal to first base, but the fact that he recovered and, beyond the baseball, that he was okay, but he did have a seatbelt on. 3-2 pitch, lifted in the air. The catcher calling for it behind home plate, and squeezing it quick is there for out number 1.
Well, if you're Coach Draghi of Rockwood Summit, you have to be very pleased with the start of this game. Quaysbarth is settled in on the mound. He's throwing strikes, getting these Liberty hitters to hit on his terms, and not to mention you're up 1-0 early on a team that's returning from last year to the Final Four.
Brady Newland is the number 9 hitter, the right fielder. And he looks at strike 1.
Back-to-back sophomore hitters for Liberty, so they're going youth here in the 8 and 9 hole.
Quaysbarth with a 1-run lead to work with. Down the right field line, the first baseman able to drift back. Sometimes the second baseman has a better angle, but the first baseman was able to go back and squeeze. Fritz making the put out.
That's one of those gray zone areas that, a lot of coaches talk about. Normally in a gray zone area, you look for your second baseman or shortstop to catch a pop-up along the outfield lines, but the first baseman called him off early enough that camped under it and got an out.
Wes Jones bats for the second time. He started off the ball game with a base hit to left field. Had a 3-1 fastball that he could handle, ripping it to left field. And he's ahead in the count, 1-0.
Quaysbarth seems to get himself in a nice little rhythm, going to the fastball early, and Coach Draghi said he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. Good command, staying on the outer part of the plate. Falls to 3-0.
Quaysbarth with just a 5-5 record coming in, but he was the man that they wanted in this situation to be able to get the Falcons to the title game. Good eye that time by Jones. He waits. When it's 3-0, you want to be able to swing at a pitch that you can handle.
Well, when you have the speed like he does, you want him to take because you want him to get on base any way he can, because he's going to steal as many bases as possible. When you have a team that steals 100 bases throughout the year, and this guy has 23 of them, you're looking to get on base anyway, anyhow.
First time Quaysbarth has gone 3-2. Jones hits it on the ground, handled. Younger over to Fritz, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning as Quaysbarth is able to make quick work of the Blue Jays and protect a 1-0 lead. Middle of the third, 1-0 Falcons. 1-0. Rockwood Summit leads Liberty with David Belfani. I'm Dave Stewart at Meador Park in Springfield. It's a Missouri Class 4 semifinal game. There's a 7 o'clock contest coming up tonight. As all the teams have the same thing in mind: play on Saturday at 4 o'clock for the state title. We're back at the top of the order as Rockwood Summit has gone through the lineup the first time. Clayton Evans, center fielder, struck out to begin the ball game. We'll see Spencer Schwank for the second time. Up and in, and it's ball 1. Ripped to left of the base hit. Clayton Evans saw something up, had a chance to turn on it, and a leadoff runner for the Falcons here to begin the third.
Well, that's what the Falcons want. You want Clayton Evans on first base early with no outs. He's a team leader in stolen bases with 17. Sees the ball up in the zone, puts a great swing on a fastball and rips it right between the third and shortstop. Good lead off there for the Falcons.
Kyle Younger takes a long look down at his head coach, his third base coach, Ken Draghi. Over to first to keep Evans close. Draghi 86-65, his career record. Went to Marquette High School in Missouri. Show bunt, pull it back.
Rockwood's been successful at the sacrifice bunt so far early in this game. They've had 2 bunts in the second inning. Just sacrifices. They end up getting runners on, creating a scoring opportunity in the second. Looking to do the same right here. Kyle Younger had a sac bunt earlier in the first. Or excuse me, a ground up short in the first.
You look at their win streak late in the year, and they scored so many runs, but you want to be able to win that 2-1 game. Runner was going. There's a base hit to right center field. And because the runner Evans was moving, he's going to be able to make it into third base easily. And it's first and third, nobody out here to begin the third inning in the bottom half.
Well, the Falcons are coming out aggressive. And Coach Draghi says his offense, they're not going to do a whole lot putting the ball over the fence, but they will out-hit you. And you're seeing this early. Schwann just keeps the ball up in the zone a little bit and just puts the big part of the bat on the ball and finds it over the second baseman's head. And Evans does a great job of locating where the ball's at and getting to third base.
Yeah, you can talk about small ball for either team, but Rockwood Summit, since losing to Lindbergh, they've scored 12, 13, 5, 7, and 13. So this is a team that can put runs on the board. Matt Kasinger, the DH. Batting for the second time. He walked first time up. Pitch stays up, and Kasinger heading to count 1-0.
If you're the Falcons, Kasinger's the guy you want up to bat in this situation. He's a very hot hitter so far in this playoffs, hitting around 600. So if you're Liberty, you're going to be very careful with this guy up to bat. If you're the Falcons, you're all smiles right now.
Walked on a 3-2 pitch. First time he saw Spencer Schwann. Talked about Liberty being able to limit the damage. Bases loaded, nobody out last inning, but again, trouble here. First and third, 1 out and a fly ball to right. Van Vakis will make the tag and a long throw, but scoring standing up, and the runner will advance to second base. So Evans tags and scores on the sacrifice fly, but because the throw was high and over the cutoff man, they're able to take advantage. Rockwood Summit will have a runner now at second base with 1 out.
You know, I was curious to see what the reaction of Coach Bragg was going to be, and I got kind of what I expected. He came out and he was very upset with the throw missing the cutoff man, but you got to tip your cap to Kyle Younger to be aware that there's an out. He went back to first and tagged up also, and he's in scoring position for Quaysbarth.
Quaysbarth can help himself here. The pitcher fooled on the breaking ball and missed inside. It's 1-0.
Coach Draghi said when his team started the year, they lost 4 straight. And he said we needed to get back to the fundamentals. And you know what? The fundamentals are what's getting them the lead so far in this game, and they're doing the small things correct.
Rockwood Summit's been out of school for a little over a week, as most of the schools in the state of Missouri have been. As Barth takes a look at it. Boy, fastball very close, just does miss. Down and in, and you know, one of the tricks for the high school coaches to get your boys up and move into the morning. Hey, let's have a morning practice, okay? Because you want them to develop some kind of a routine as they would over the course of the school year.
And as a player, I couldn't stand that, but you understand it and everything. But it's definitely something you don't like to do, but it's a lot easier when your coach forces you to do it.
Well, it keeps you from getting the rickets and sleeping till noon.
And that's what I wanted. Fortunately, I didn't get it.
2-1. And he goes 3-1 on the opposing pitcher.
If you're Schwandt here, you want to just calm down, take a deep breath. You have one out. You want to keep that runner on second base. You do have an open base at first. Unfortunately, Eric Beisel's on deck, and he's a big, big hitter for Falcons.
Rockwood Summit started the scoring in the second with a couple of well-placed bunts that caused big trouble. And we go 3-2. For the second time, Barth will bat with a full count against Spencer Schwandt.
Now, if I'm Spencer here, I'll be careful. You don't have to go to the fastball necessarily here because you have first base open, which gives you a double play opportunity if you do have by chance walking him. So not necessarily a fastball count.
And he misses inside and puts on Barth first and second now with one out.
The big man Eric Beisel coming up to bat. He's an RBI machine for these Falcons. Led off his first AB with a single to left field.
And outside of the bunts that have been trouble, it's been pitches up that they have punished Spencer Schwandt. It's those balls up in the zone where they've been able to take it to left field with some authority.
Hitter seems to control the barrel a little bit better when the ball is up in the zone rather than lower.
Ball in the dirt, blocked nicely that time, kept in front of him by Todd Hinckley, so the runners do not advance. Did a good job that time by Hinckley, not just trying to backhand the ball, but to move his whole body over in front of it. Beisel looks at ball two.
Well, Beisel's going to be dead right on a fastball right here. He's going to look for something high in the zone where he could handle, be on time with his fastball. If you're Schwandt, you just have to make a pitch. Let your defense work behind you.
Leads this team with 3 home runs, off speed, and it's 2-1.
You mentioned the 3 home runs. This Rockwood team has a total of 6. So they're not a home run hitting team, but if there's a guy that could do it on the team, it's Beisel.
350 down the line, which is a healthy poke. It's 380 to center. Wind not a factor. Pretty limp with the flag just to the right of the scoreboard, and the count goes to 3-1. And now we see that dangerous 3-1 count for the pitcher Schwandt against somebody that's looking, yeah, you talk about if you get middle fastball, he's going to take a healthy cut. Down to the zone, walked in, ball 4. Bases are loaded for the second inning in a row.
Curious to see if Coach Bragg takes the opportunity here to settle his pitcher down. And it looks like he may do so right here. And Spencer Schwandt, he's a veteran. He's a veteran that's been in this situation before. And sometimes it's always nice to have your coach come down and let you know everything's all right and just make a big pitch here. If you get a ground ball, you're out of this inning with the double play. So
Todd Hinckley, initially, the catcher thought he'd done enough and was retreating to behind the plate when he saw his head coach come out, and so they will have the smaller conference than we saw in the second inning when the entire infield was around the mound. But they will talk about the situation here with Nick Bamvakis, the right fielder, up now with a chance to increase this 2-0 lead here. Overcast day, it's a cool day, wind not a factor.
Well, Bamvakis kind of started the whole sacrifice bunt merry-go-round in the second inning. He ended up getting a single out of it, but you're going to look for him to be a free swinger right here and look for a pitch down the middle because Spencer's had a tough time locating his off-speed pitch. So Fastball dead red in this situation, looking to drive in a couple runs.
Again, the infield will play for the double play. Shortstop in second, a double play depth. On the corners, they are just on the grass. And Bacchus in the air, first base side. Might be room in front of the dugout, and there is. Not deep enough or in a difficult enough spot to be able to get that runner to tag at third. Now 2 outs, bases loaded.
You know, that was a great job, and you don't necessarily see this all the time, but the catcher, Hinckley, went against the wall and was communicating with his first baseman, letting him know where he was at, that he had plenty of room, and Spencer did a great job coming to home plate and covering the open base for him. So a great job all around by the infield of the Blue Jays.
Ullman's down there next to the Rockwood Summit dugout, and they're not going to help him much.
No, not at all. And it's kind of an awkward corner there, too. The fence kind of cuts in, so it's not a routine pop-up right there.
Jacob Meador reaching on an air by the first baseman. Another one of those tricky bunts. Fouls it straight back, and the count goes even 1-1.
There's that little indention in the corner, and that's right on Rockwood's side. And whenever you're the opposing team going to catch a fly ball, they're not the nicest group of people to you, which is understandable.
I'm pretty sure if it was on the other side, they would get the same help.
Well, I'm just telling you, if you were on the other team and you were coming over on my side, I'd be greeting you, but only you.
Yeah.
Only you.
2-2 count now with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Spencer Schwant with a chance to limit the damage again here in the third. High fastball. Nice stop by the short and a long throw across, but he's not going to get him. Nice play by Winfrey to extend and keep that ball from going into left field, which saved another run. Ullman with a long stretch, but Meador able to leg it out for the infield hit, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, that's a tough play for the shortstop, Winfrey, but he does a tremendous job of extending, getting himself an opportunity to make a play. Great throw over to first base, but like you said, Meador just too fast down the line, getting himself an infield hit and an RBI, putting Rockwood up by 3 runs.
Ryan Fritz will try to add to it. First pitch swinging. Foul ground, first base side. And Ullman is there to squeeze. And so Rockwood Summit will leave the bases loaded, but do add to their lead. It is 3-0 Falcons over the Blue Jays. Top of the 4th inning coming up from Meador Park in Springfield. We're back in a moment.
Be sure to visit MSHSAA on the web at www.msha.org. You can see complete box scores and stats of today's game, tournament leaders, and all the latest information on Missouri high school activities on the web. That's newmsha.org.
Back at Meador Park in Springfield with David Belfonte, I'm Dave Stewart. Rockwood Summit leads Liberty 3-0. Remember back in the day when Quays Barth was struggling off the top, base hit, sacrifice base hit? Well, since then, he has retired 7 up, 7 down. He is in a groove as we start the top of the 4th inning with Taylor Harmon, who looks at ball 1.
And that's the best way to put it. He's just found a groove for himself. He's settled in, and he's filling up the strike zone early, and he's doing a great job of getting these Liberty hitters off balance.
Harmon with the sacrifice bunt back of the 1st inning. Lifts one down the line in right field, and it falls out of play in foul ground. Harmon headed to Simpson College in Iowa. One of the many that will go on and become student athletes. One of the many who will find out how much work it takes to be a student athlete. As you know, having played at Nebraska. On one pitch, scalded to right center field. That will drop for a base hit. Taylor Harmon has a hit, his second at bat after the sacrifice, and a leadoff hitter as Liberty tries to cut into a 3-0 deficit here in the top of the fourth.
He does just a great job of just going with the pitch and finding himself a little hole. You know, the best phrase, just hit it where they ain't. And he definitely did that. Just poked it in there for a hit, and he's on base for their big man, Winfrey.
Jam stayed inside of the ball. Winfrey, a single. Through the left side of the infield his first time up. A .372 average to begin the Final Four. And that average has done nothing but go up. That ended 7 straight retired batters by Quays Barth for Rockwood Summit. Same spot, right center field, only deeper, and a leaping catch just in front of the warning track. Van Vock is able to go back and make it, and that ball had a little more legs to it than we thought initially off the bat.
Exactly. I mean, this is a big ballpark. We're playing 350 down the line, and you got 380 in center field, but it doesn't look like there's much of a breeze, so Winfrey definitely had a little power behind that one, but great play out there for Rockwood. Van Vock is just getting there in time and making the play and helping his pitcher out, getting one out, as Liberty has their 4-hole hitter coming to bat.
Todd Hinckley flew out to center his first time up, batting with 1 out, had a runner at first. He'll likely decide this summer on a college destination. Ball in the dirt. Central Missouri, Rockers, both possibilities. Good catching, hard to find. Good pitching, even harder to find.
You know, whenever you have a catcher that's your home run guy and he's definitely dependable behind the plate, those two normally aren't go hand in hand. So it's very impressive to see what Hinckley has done this year for Liberty, and Coach Bragg is very impressed with his catcher.
Left-handed hitter hits it up the middle, and it sneaks into center field. And the runner Harmon will hold at second base, and Liberty has something going. First and second, 1 out with Lucas Norton, who's been so big with key hits down the stretch here. Home runs against Winnetonka and Rockers to get his team in position. We'll have a courtesy runner for Liberty. They'll go ahead and make that change with Nick Herzog running at first base.
Well, Liberty's definitely known to hit the ball. They have a lot of hitters in this lineup, as Hinckley shows here. But Lucas Norton, guy has 5 home runs on the year, so great opportunity for him to get Liberty on the board and possibly drive in a run for his Jays and get things going.
Quays Barth, first pitch, fouled away. So after having retired 7 straight, Blue Jays able to put back-to-back hits together, try to get on the board for the first time.
Quays Barth, if you have a 3-run lead right here, you're just looking to keep filling up the strike zone, pitch to contact, and let your defense play behind you. And you're looking for a ground ball to one of the middle infielders for a nice little double play ball here.
Ball lifted, Fallon out of play, and things are Quays Barth's way. 0-2 ahead in the count, and you've seen pretty active second baseman and Younger trying to keep that runner Harmon as close to second base as possible. Big difference on the lead he gets and being able to move on a ball hitting the gap on a base hit. Try to keep him at third base instead of scoring in a 3-0 game. Quays Barth misses for the first time, but a good idea. 0-2. Of course, the rule is nothing hittable. Nothing hittable. 0-2.
Took the words right out of my mouth. That drives a pitching coach crazy when you have an 0-2 count and you throw a pitch where a hitter could definitely make solid contact. So good pitch right there by Quays Barth.
And different with nobody on base, where you can throw one in the dirt, doesn't matter. Quaysbarth that time able to handle an 0-2 off speed. And there are 2 down now, first and second. The strikeout by Norton.
Just an off-speed pitch right there, and catches him off guard, and a little high in the strike zone, but he gets away with it, and he's getting ahead of hitters, and that's what you want as a pitching coach. You want your pitcher to keep those Jays off balance.
Taylor Ullman grounded out to first unassisted his first time up. Batting with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here, and his Liberty side down in the top of the 4th inning. It's a 3-0 game, Rockwood Summit. Falcons coming in 17-9. Pitched by Ken Draghi. And hit a long way down the left field line. Should drift foul and out of play. As Beisel went over to take a look.
Well, if you're Liberty, you're definitely going to have some of these opposite field balls fall for you. Quaysbarth is living on the outside part of that plate. He's staying away from, it seems to be the Jays' strong suit in that middle end portion of the plate. So props to Quaysbarth on strategically pitching to the outer part of the plate and being effective in doing that.
1-1 to Ullman. Outside, couldn't resist, missed it 1-2.
Well, we talked about it in the early part of the innings that Quaysbarth's going to be a fastball changeup guy, and you got to see a changeup right there, catching the hitter on the front foot. Good pitch.
Long look down at his third base coach, the head coach, Kirk Bragg. 1-2 toward right field, but backhanded. Quaysbarth there, and the Falcons do it nicely. Able to run some good defense there with Fritz flipping to the pitcher covering. And Liberty leaves 2 on base. We go bottom of 4. Rockwood Summit up 3-0. Three 3-0 our score. Rockwood Summit leads Liberty High School in the Missouri Class 4 semifinals. Okay, which team had never, ever been to the Final Four?
It's tough to...
Oh, yeah, the team that's ahead right
now. I was going to say, it's tough to judge based on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but it's amazing how a little success kind of settles a nerve, and working from the lead is the way to do it. Jack Quick, the catcher for these Falcons, takes ball 1. On the ground to third. Lots of time to strike across. Reef to Ullman. There's 1 down.
That's a good sign right there if you're the Blue Jays. You want to see Schwant just kind of settle in a little bit more. His pitch count's definitely up there. He's getting in a lot of 3 ball counts, but good sign right there for the top of the 4th inning, or excuse me, bottom of the 4th inning, to get a 2-pitch out and maybe get the jitters out of the way, and so he can go back to work.
Yeah, 4 times he's gone to 3 balls, 3 of those times full count. Back to the top of the order, Clayton Evans chops 1 foul. Evans with the strikeout. He singled and scored back in the 3rd inning, as the Falcons have been able to continue adding to their advantage. Batting now in the 4th, up by 3. Breaking ball misses, 1-1. Schwant misses low, and it's 2-1.
Well, we mentioned in the pregame that Liberty, this is back-to-back Final Four appearances, and Schwandt has been a huge reason why. This is his second time pitching in the Final Four.
In the air to right field and well hit. Going back to the wall and off of the wall. Newland can't make the play. Gets the ball back into the infield, but it'll be a 3-base hit for Clayton Evans. And that time, Liberty did it right, taking that ball off the wall, hitting the cutoff man. But Evans, your leadoff hitter, and you talked about the speed. There is the speed. We saw it.
Well,
Evans,
great turn at second base.
Evans is the leading stolen baseman for Rockwood, but when you hit triples, you don't have to worry about that. And it looks like Liberty thought he missed the bag at second, trying to check up on him there, but no, says the umpire. Clayton's in for a triple.
Kyle Younger will try to bring him home, and not a bad scenario for the team batting. Getting your leadoff man to third base. Breaking ball misses outside, and let's take another look at that play at second base.
That's too close to call. It looks like maybe he clipped it, but
here comes the runner on a bunt, the flip to the plate, and he is through and scores. And nicely executed that time, because the runner, Evans, was coming. Younger able to get it home, and Schwandt did a good job to get to the ball and flip the catcher, Hinckley, but it was too late.
Was your squeeze play right there. He does a great job of getting the ball down, and Evans, great job at sliding and avoiding the tag going on the outside part of home plate. And boy, Rockwood, they're doing the small things just to get runners on, moving them over and scoring them. So Coach Hagee has to like, Coach Draghi has to like what he sees so far out of his offense, and Rockwood just keeps putting up runs.
And able to get a run home and nobody out. Matt Kasinger bats, the designated hitter. A walk back in the first and a sacrifice fly, and a different look at the bunt execution, and a good job by the catcher. Hinckley doing everything he could to block the path. And the flip to second base to set up a double play, and Liberty not able to pull it off. Everybody will be safe. No double play, no force at second. 2 on, nobody out. On Kasinger's ground ball made to order.
Well, Schwandt gets exactly what you want in that situation. You want a routine double play ball, and you know, when talking to Coach Kirk Bragg, he says, what's the strong point of our defense? It's our middle infield, and unfortunately, you let him down right there. But if you're Liberty, you want to do damage control right here. Runners on first and second, 1 out. You still have the double play opportunity. You want to do whatever you can to pick up your defense and help your pitcher out in this situation and avoid giving up any more runs.
Now, double play would still be in order with third base hot. Runners at first and second. We have time on the field.
I think the umpires are just clarifying how many outs are on the field. And
yeah, there is 1 out. Jack Quick started this inning with the ground out to third base. The scoreboard did say 0, but indeed, we mentioned that a double play, they would have been able to get out of trouble. So 1 out is correct.
Well, the pitcher, Brian Quaisbarth, has an opportunity to help himself out, give himself a little bit of a cushion up here, up to bat with runners in scoring position.
Third baseman in on the grass, and a base hit to center field. The one runner being waved around. Here's a throw to the plate. Dropped by the cutoff man, and another run will score.
Kyle Younger, the runner on second at that time, does a great job, great read off the bat, and he was coming around hard at third. Right when the contact's made, he knows it's going through. He hits third base at a great angle, and he's scoring. So Liberty really was, their hands were tied on that one. Tremendous speed around third, and since the first inning, Rockwood putting up runs in the second, third, and fourth, and well, they're not done in the fourth.
And the pitcher, Quaisbarth, helping himself as the lead now goes to 5-0. Bragg, the head coach, will go out, and Spencer Schwant's day on the mound is over. He'll come out here at the bottom of the 4th inning, having retired just that first batter. But his team down by 5. And the Jays not out of a jam yet. And Ullman, the cutoff man, was not able to handle that throw cleanly. Not sure that he had a play at the plate. Max Miller will come in and work out of the bullpen.
9-15.
Right-handed junior on the year, 3-2, with an earned run average of .332. And the idea from Coach Bragg was to ride Schwant as long as he could, and you know you'd like to be able to save pitching for Saturday, hoping that it would be for the championship game, but you can't let the game get away. And Liberty and Bragg know that they have the potential to score a bunch of runs, but they've got to, at some point, you have to stop the other team from scoring.
No, you're absolutely right. And Schwant, he's definitely their workhorse, but in this situation, you have to go to the bullpen. Give a guy, let the Rockwood, they're going 3rd time through the order and seeing him at this early stage in the game. Good decision on going to the bullpen. As you said, Max Miller, he's going to come in and relieve. 23 innings on the season, and the impressive thing is he has 23 strikeouts. Strikeout an inning, and this is one of those situations where you are looking for a strikeout or you're looking for a ground ball where your defense can handle a double play and get your defense into the dugout and try to help out your case.
2 errors playing key roles in Rockwood Summit getting this 5-run advantage in the 4th inning. Meador with a reaching on an error, but you look at Ullman not making a play with his bunt back in the 2nd inning as the scoring started for the Falcons. And again, what appeared to be a tailor-made double play on a ball hit by Kasinger. Miller, first batter that he faces, Eric Beisel, who was singled and scored and walked his first 2 times up.
Just watching Miller's throwing motion, it looks like he's going to have a ball that kind of tails away from the hitter. He kind of comes in at a, not exactly over the top, a little bit on the side there. Looks like he can get a little bit of a late movement to his pitch, which makes it difficult for a hitter to make solid contact to.
1-1. Miller's normal position in the field would be shortstop. He's done a lot of work on the mound this year as well. Ball grounded into left field, and the runner will be stopped there as the throw goes through, but a good job by Miller backing up behind home plate. And part of that may have been a case of Winfrey trying to keep the runner at second base close. He was cheating towards second. That really opened up the hole on the left side.
No, you're absolutely right, but you got to give credit to Wes Jones, the left fielder. He came up and he came up with a great throw. He stopped that runner. You know, Coach Strage, the third base coach for Rockwood, saw him make a good, clean field and came up and throw him. But good job by Hinckley on knocking that ball down and keeping it in front of him. So bases loaded situation for Rockwood.
Bam Vakas batting for the 3rd time takes high ball 1. Bunt single back in the 2nd inning. Popped out to first base his last time up. 5-0. Falcons of Rockwood Summit leading Liberty.
Bam Vakas is an interesting story. You know, the first half of the season he didn't even play. Didn't play, and coach said that he just gave him an opportunity in the second half of the season, and he's been in the lineup ever since. He's been hitting strong ever since, and this playoffs really come through for Rockwood, and he's in a great situation to help his team out with bases loaded.
Miller working out of the stretch, and he gets strike 2. 1-2 to Bam Vakas, the right fielder. Five-run advantage for their ace, Brian Quaisbarth, who has helped himself at bat. They appeal to first. And umpire Corey Gilpin says no, he did not. Count goes 2-2.
Good job by the catcher Hinckley in keeping that off-speed pitch in front of him. Does he hold up? Just barely, but again, great job, great awareness by Hinckley.
2-2 is down, and the count goes full. There's nowhere to put him.
Well, something's going to happen on this pitch, that's for sure. And the defense has to be ready for a double play ball.
And Bach has 12 RBIs on the season. That's number 13. Walking in a run, Miller. Throwing ball 4. Another run scored, and it's 6-0. Liberty now down by half a dozen.
Number 6, Jacob Meador.
And you have Jacob Meador coming up for Rockwood. You know, this guy leads the team in hits with 38, leads the team with RBIs in 25, and I had one more on there, leads the team in doubles with 9.
First pitch you see is on the inside corner for strike 1.
This Rockwood team's just scrapping runs where they can get them, and they're doing it effectively.
Again, nice job by Todd Hinckley. Been impressed with some of the balls. The easy thing to do is just try to backhand it, but he's been able to stay wide and square to the plate and get across in front of it. May have saved a run there. 1-1 your count.
And these Liberty pitchers are just falling behind in the count and just giving Rockwood great pitches to see from there. So it's tough. It's tough right now if you're a coach in Liberty, just seeing your team fall behind batter after batter.
4 walks for the game. That time it will skip by Hinckley all the way to the screen, and another run will score.
Just it looks like an off-speed pitch, just kind of gets by him. Hinckley's not able to backhand it. The ball fires off the wall a little bit, but speed of Rockwood getting to home plate helps them get another one across. Runners on second and third. Liberty looks like they're going to bring their defense in to avoid giving up any more runs.
Lepsky that time scored, and there's another ball 4. It's 5 walks now. Lepsky was pinch running for the pitcher, Quays Barth. And Bragg will take the ball from Miller and try a third pitcher. And let's take a break. 7-0. Rockwood Summit leads Liberty. The Falcons not done yet. Back in a moment. Seven 0. Rockwood Summit leads Liberty here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Falcons have scored 4 times. The plan was Robbie Hendricks was going to pitch on Saturday. And sometimes you can't wait for Saturday. You've got to be able to keep the score down if you can. And Liberty's plan, I mean, hey, it's aluminum bats. It's a team that scored a lot of runs. You know, they still think that, you know, they're going to be able to make a move here, but they can't give up any more runs. That's why Hendricks is in now. First pitch, fastball up, strike one.
Well, Hendricks is a fastball guy. He throws a heavy fastball, looking to get a strikeout in this situation. 42 strikeouts on the year, so he has done that well over the year. Rockwood looking to add to their 7-run lead.
Fritz 0 for 2, having hit into a double play and popped out to the first baseman as the Falcons have batted around here. Ninth man to come to the plate is Ryan Fritz, the first baseman. Breaking ball in the dirt again. Nice job by Hinckley to keep it in front. And actually, on the ball that got by Hinckley before, it came back with some pretty good velocity off the fence, but still the runner had enough speed to be able to score.
No, the runner did a great job reading the ball down in the dirt, and he got a head start, so that was a tough situation right off the bat for the catcher Hinckley.
2-1 Hendricks. Fastball misses. 3-1. 5 walks already given up, 4 over the past 2 innings, the third and the fourth is not done yet.
The problem with walks is it kind of lulls your defense to sleep. You see a lot of guys with their hands on their hips for Liberty, and they got to be ready for action here.
Runners at every base, foul out of play. First and third base are on the edge of the grass, Reith and Ullman.
It's always tough when you're a relief pitcher coming into a situation, and I'm sure Hendricks didn't expect a pitch today, but here he is and gets the ball with bases loaded. Only 1 out, so pretty tough situation, but he's done well in handling it so far.
3-1 record-wise coming into the final fourth. 3-2 pitch. Out of the stretch. And he misses. And it's 8-0 on another base on balls RBI.
Yeah, if you're Coach Bragg and Liberty, you just kind of have to sit there and just shake your head. I mean, the walks are obvious; they'll hurt you no matter what. But you gotta force Rockwood to put the ball in play. Let your defense help you, or give your defense the opportunity to help out. Walks, they hurt.
Jack Quick started this with a ground out to third on the first pitch, and since then, big trouble for Liberty. There's a ball flared down the right field line. It'll fall into foul territory. Well, Quaysbarth wiggled early for Rockwood Summit and nails since then. A little bit of a wobble, but not giving up any runs. And now his philosophy is totally different with an 8-run lead. You just pound the strike zone.
That's it. You want to force contact, let your defense work for you, and protect that 8-run lead any way you can. The one thing you don't want to do is give up free bases, and you see what happens when bases are given. Liberty's kind of dealing with that right now, and Rockwood, you got to give it to Rockwood too. They're capitalizing when runners are in scoring position.
Hendricks with 31+ innings, but 21, now 22 walks. The last one, and they pitch out on 0-2 just in case there's nothing on. And 0-2 is the time to do that.
Curious call right there, you know, because even if he does square a bunt, if he bunts it foul, he's automatically out with 2 strikes on him.
Breaking ball, hit to short. They'll bring it to the plate for 1. Down to first, double play. So Hendricks does get outs number 2 and 3 after walking in a run, the 8th run of the game, the 5th run of the inning. And the Blue Jays have some serious work to do. Rockwood Summit leads Liberty 8-0. 8-0. Rockwood Summit and the team doing the YMCA cheer, or whatever you want to call that, enjoying themselves in the dugout as we look at the offense for the Falcons, and there's been a lot of it. Every which way to score, they've done it.
And it's been 1 through 9. I mean, they've done it every way you can think of. Bunting, hitting the ball off the wall, doing the little things right. I mean, base running has been great. Rockwood is hitting on all cylinders, 1 through 9, and it isn't too bad to have Quaybarth on the mound doing what he's doing now.
Andy Wraith will start things with first base swinging and a base hit to center field. We're underway in the top of the 5th inning, and this Liberty team, they're 27-3. They've won 9 straight games. They've won some big games against some really good teams down the stretch. And they had to beat Platte County, then Oak Park and Staley in the district tournament. And then you get Winnetonka, and you get a shutout performance, and then you beat Rockhurst in a very tight game at the end. So they feel battle-tested.
No, you're right. I mean, they're winners 4 in a row of the Big 6 Conference. This team's going to put up runs. They've lost 3 games, and 2 of them have been to one team, and one was really due to a rainout also, which should be noted. But this Liberty team can put up runs. They swing the bat extremely well, and if you're Quaysbarth and in Rockwood, you still want to throw the ball around the strike zone, pitch to contact, no free bases, and let your defense play for you.
Francis with a 1-0 count. Lifts one in the air to left field. That's going to be trouble. Does it get over? And it does. Jacob Francis with a big swing, stroking one to left field, and Liberty shows life. Blue Jays on the board. It is 8-2 Francis. That dramatic story, David, you talked about it. A car accident early in the season. Very limited, a handful of bats. Coming into the Final Four, and he puts them on the board.
Well, coming into the game today, you can count all of his at-bats on one hand, and Coach said whenever he's had the opportunity, he's done the most of it. And when you're that big, you don't have to do too much to the ball. He just gets a pitch that he can handle, puts the big part of the bat on the ball, and the rest is history from there. The big man puts Liberty on the scoreboard, trying to turn the momentum a little bit. And like we said, with the Liberty offense, as potent as they are, they could definitely turn some numbers over quickly and often.
It's funny, all the times George Brett would talk to minor leaguers at spring training and ask guys, how many times did you hit a home run when you tried to hit a home run? And everybody's like, well, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you never do. That was as easy a stroke as you'll find. Francis getting the Jays on the board, and now Quaysbarth a little bit rattled in an 8-2 game, but he has thrown now back-to-back balls to Brady Newland, the number 9 hitter.
If you're Rockwood, you still need to be calm and collected. You have a 6-run lead. Quaysbarth needs to get back on the mound, just fill up the strike zone, pitch to contact still. It's okay. Your offense has done a great job so far. That's the nice thing about having an 8-run cushion going into the inning.
And the count goes to 3-1. Find the corner and get the count full. 3-2 to the number 9 hitter, Brady Newland, with Quaysbarth in a 6-run lead here in the 5th inning. A chopper up the middle, and it'll find the grass in center field. And Liberty has had 3 straight batters reach order. As the throw went to first base, and a good job that time by the catcher, Quick, backing up that play, so there was no advancement.
Yeah, Coach Dragy's definitely going to come out on the mound here and talk to his pitcher. Liberty seems to just be settled down. You know, sometimes when you give up and you're kind of in a deficit, you seem to calm down at the plate because it can't get much worse than what it is. But Liberty's doing a good job in gathering themselves and getting things rolling offensively.
See Coach Bragg having a conversation with his leadoff hitter, Wes Jones, who will sometime this summer, like Todd Hinckley, his teammate, decide on a college. They haven't picked one yet. Conversation between Quick, the rare combination of cues, Quick and Quaysbarth, catcher and pitcher. Court Quisenberry, we saw that with the Royals. But a rare thing indeed. Wes Jones has singled and grounded out to second. Quaysbarth will check the runner. Jays down by 6, but on the board here for the first time. Wes Jones going old school. It's colder today. I'm not going to wear batting gloves under any circumstance.
That is old school.
Looks at strike one. Garrett Gibson for Summit Christian Academy. Old school with just the bottom hand had a batting glove and nothing on the top. Throw to first, not in time.
You don't see that too often anymore.
Well, you know, before you were born, they did that. You'll have to take my word for it, or ask your dad later.
No, I'll let it go. I'll let it go.
8-2. Rockwood Summit leading. Quaysbarth misses again. It's 2-1.
Well, Rockwood is definitely going to use Quaysbarth as far into this game as possible. Rockwood has 3 pitchers that amount to 80% of the innings pitched this year, so pitching depth is definitely not their strength, but if you're Liberty, you're looking, this pitch count's definitely racking up for Quaysbarth, and you're looking to tap into that bullpen because anything can happen from there on out.
Now that time just overthrowing the pitch. 3-1 now. Snap throw to first, and sometimes when you see a pitcher obsessing with a runner in the bag, it's because he doesn't want to throw home. Nobody out. Wes Jones with a shot up the middle, and Quaysbarth did get a glove on it, but it was hit so hard there was still no chance for Younger to be able to go over from second base and make any kind of a play. And so now we have seen ball after ball after ball after ball hit hard by Liberty, and Coach Greggy will go to the mound.
No, that ball was well struck. Almost took the pitcher's head off right there, but good reaction by Quaysbarth there. And Coach Dragy's going to come to the mound, look to make a pitching change, and I think this is the right call. These Liberty hitters are squaring balls up as they're coming third time around to see what this pitcher has to offer. But Quaysbarth making the switch from the pitcher's mound over to first base as we have a new pitcher on the mound here.
Now think about it, going to first base, and there would be very few circumstances where you'd be able to have to make any kind of a dramatic throw. There would be some on a cutoff, but for a pitcher to go to first base, the demands would be relatively low. But he will stay in the game and go to first base. We'll come back and talk about the pitching change as we see Joey Shank warm it up. More baseball. Back in a moment. Liberty down by 8, but getting on the scoreboard here in the 5th inning on Jacob Francis. Going deep, David.
Yeah, the big sophomore definitely trying to turn things around for Liberty. It's hard to say that Rockwood has their backs against the wall with an 8-run lead, but you know, Liberty's doing whatever they can to turn the momentum in their favor and just peck away at shortening the lead that Rockwood Summit has right now.
Joey Shank is the new pitcher facing Taylor Harmon. Ball bounces a foot in front of the plate. And the good news for the Falcons is when you do the math, okay, they're up by 6, so it's not like the tying run is in the batter's box or the on-deck circle. It's still in the dugout, but there's nobody out. Runners at first and second, and a good hitter up there in Taylor Harmon. Joey Shank chasing the pitch that might have been a bit inside.
And you talked about it. You got the 2, 3, and 4 hitters up for Liberty with runners in scoring position. So, I mean, if you could draw up a good picture right now for Liberty, this would be one way you draw it up. For Rockwood, you got Joey Shank coming in to pitch, and Coach Draghi says this is my most consistent guy on the mound. So, definitely nice to see for Rockwood here. But
Harmon watches another pitch down, and it's 2-2. Shank 5-2 coming into the Final Four with a 282 earned run average. Grounded foul down the third base line.
Boy, Liberty would love to have bases loaded here for their big guy, Nathan Winfrey, who's on deck.
Shank
looks like starting to rain on us a little bit.
57 innings pitched and 60 strikeouts. He could use a punchy right about now. 2 on, nobody out. Misses wide.
Excuse me, Shank was a candidate also to pitch on Saturday, and looks like Coach Drakey made the decision to go ahead and opt out that decision and have him come in and pitch and look to close this one down for his team to advance. But
they had rain overnight. They have not had a great deal of precipitation in the Springfield area so far this year. We are getting some now. Ground ball to third, fair or foul, stays foul. And the field could take some water and really not affect the conditions too much. But it's much cooler today. The flag is limp next to the scoreboard in left field. It is 8-2 Liberty trying to work on a big deficit. Shank throws ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Nathan Winfrey. Hitting .472 coming into the Final Four with a single and a fly out so far. And the one thing both coaches have had to deal with so far, in particular the last couple of innings, bases on balls, just drives you crazy.
Oh, it'll give you gray hair in a quick, but especially when you give up free bases and Nathan Winfrey comes up to bat. I mean, this guy, he leads Liberty in 5 offensive categories. He was an all-state player as a sophomore. More than likely will be a candidate for his junior year also, but he leads the team in hits, doubles, triples, runs, and on-base percentage. So good guy for Liberty to have up in this situation.
Good patience. Looks at ball 1. You can see the rain falling. Most of the stands, most of the fans here are protected by cover. Hit hard to second base. Can they turn it? No, they bobble it. The play at second, they do get a force out. And Younger, in his haste to try to turn the double play, bobbled just a moment, but was able to flip it a short in time. So they do get that lead runner. We will have another run come home to make it 8-3. First and third now, 1 out.
Well, Maynard does the right thing. He sees his second baseman have trouble with the release and get it to him a little bit, but he does the right thing and just getting it out. You give up 1 run, no big deal. You still have a 5-run lead. Let his pitcher, Joey Shank, go back to work.
Todd Hinckley, the hitter, takes high. Hinckley with a fly out to center field back of the first, singled in the 4th.
Senior looking to extend this inning, get another run across for Liberty, and get his teammate up to bat.
Ground ball to first. Can Rockwood Summit turn it that way? They do. Big defensive play by the Falcons to limit the damage. And an 8-run lead becomes an 8-3 advantage. But Shank coming out of the bullpen to close things down. A 5-run lead as Rockwood Summit comes to bat. Bottom of the 5th inning. Back in Springfield at Meador Park with David Belfani, I'm Dave Stewart. A huge defensive play by Rockwood Summit to limit the Liberty inning. You see Quaysbarth starting a double play. Very, very close.
It's a bang-bang play.
It is a bang-bang play, and you know what? The closest guy there to make the call, Corey Gilpin. And Quaysbarth was the starting pitcher who came out of the game from the mound anyway. He stayed in defensively and really helped himself there, turning that double play.
He's done just about everything. He's hitting for Rockwood, he pitched for him, and turning double plays, helping his team get out of a jam. So Rockwood looking to capitalize and expand the lead that they have right now. Liberty cut it short by 3 runs, closing it to 5, and Henricks on the mound for Liberty, looking to come right at the Rockwood hitters and get his team back in the dugout.
Clayton Evans, first pitch swinging, and because the third baseman Reith was up a little bit, that ball able to chop off the ground and go over his head, and he has reached safely for the 3rd straight time after striking out back in the 1st inning. Clayton Evans is now 3 for 4.
Just a nice little power rollover, I call it. And like you said, this field is pretty hard. It hasn't had much rain on it, and that gives the ball a little bit more giddy up and bounces over the third baseman's head. But hey, when you're a hitter, you'll take a hit any way you can.
Kyle Younger steps in, facing a new pitcher for the first time. Squares to bunt, drops it foul. Younger has reached and scored his last 2 times up.
If you're Henricks here, you want to make sure that you keep Evans close to first. This kid, he's the stolen base threat that Rockwood has to offer, and when you have a 5-run inning, you could pretty much do whatever you'd like and put a little pressure on the pitcher.
Yeah, you don't want to just pretend that 8 runs is going to be saved, that is enough. Younger with an 0-1 count. Henricks checking the runner, and again comes home. They show bunt. Henricks able to field his only plan from the beginning was to throw to first base and get the out, and Rockwood Summit does advance the runner.
Well, both sides are satisfied with that play. Younger does a great job of getting the bunt down. Henricks popping off the mound, looking like an infielder there. Turns and throws and gets him well ahead of time. Rockwood playing small ball, getting that runner into scoring position for their big man, Kasinger, who's been hot lately.
Reached on an error his last time up, scored a run. Also delivered a sacrifice fly and walked back in the 1st inning. Would like to play the title game on Saturday in a historic trip to the Final Four. Never happened before for this Rockwood Summit team.
Well, this team's writing themselves in the history book.
Chop foul. Error on the third base coach. Draghi not able to barehand that.
I've been kind of watching him on the side, and you know, this is a high-energy coach. I mean, he's very passionate about what he does. He's amped up about what his team's done so far, and you know, we talked about it, is that he coaches these kids into the summer too, so he develops a pretty strong relationship with all of his players.
Well, if he was unable to sleep last night, what would it be like tonight if they get ready for the championship? Count goes 2-1.
I definitely hope I wouldn't be his roommate, that's for sure. You'd be up all night talking your ear off, strategy, whatever it may be.
It might just be flipping. Flipping in the bed more than talking about it. 2-2 now. Clayton Evans at second base. Again, he's signed with Southeast Missouri. Plays college baseball and go to class. That whole student-athlete scenario. Big swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and Henricks retires Kasinger for the 2nd out of the inning.
Well, we talked about Henricks has the ability to walk a lot of hitters, but he also has the ability to strike out a lot of hitters. That's number 43 on the season, 43 strikeouts in 32 innings, so that's pretty impressive right there.
Brian Quaysbarth now the first baseman after starting on the mound for the Falcons. takes low ball 1. Walked back in the 3rd and singled and scored in a 5-run 4th inning. You can see the rain falling behind him.
Mr. Does It All. He was the inning killer for the Blue Jays last inning and turning a double play for Rockwood to help getting his team off the field.
Hendrick's idea is to get the team off the field now with 2 down here. Runner in scoring position.
I like what Hendricks is doing, though. He's settled in. He's going after the hitters. He's relying a lot on his fastball, but he's pitching to contact, and he's around the zone, which is a good sign for Liberty.
1-1 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. No advancement. Both teams being far enough away from Springfield, they both spent the night here. They've had a chance to enjoy the experience of going to the Final Four. Willard, a team that's coming up in the later game, they're 10 minutes from here, so
right down the street.
Yeah, naturally you get the advantage of being in your own bed. But Liberty watching Avengers collectively. Ground ball to short, and the long throw across gets Quaisbarth by a step. And Hendricks does his job. No damage done. They strand a runner at second base. But the Falcons of Rockwood Summit lead by 5 with 6 outs to go. The lights are on. The rain is falling down as we go to the top of the 6th inning with Liberty in need of runs. They trail Rockwood Summit by an 8-3 count. First pitch to Lucas Norton is up for ball. Norton's day so far, fly ball out and a strikeout. In the air left side. Is there room over there near the screen? And there is for the shortstop. And sometimes the shortstop has the furthest distance to go, but he has the best read on it. He's able to go sideways instead of backing up. And good work that time to record the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Jacob Meador does a great job in getting over there. This is one of those gray zone areas where when you practice it, it's tough for a coach to hit it there, but it's one of those areas where the third baseman, left fielder, shortstop are all in reach, but you either want your outfielder or your shortstop to take control, and Maynard, the shortstop, does a great job right there.
The rain is coming down harder. Joey Schenk is on the mound in relief of Brian Quaisbarth. His first pitch to Taylor Ullman misses.
Well, the rain started in the 5th inning, and it's definitely coming down harder than it was then.
Swings and misses on the ball on the outside part of the plate. Schenk working quickly.
The playoffs are a different situation, but I do know that after 4 innings, it's considered a game. I'm not sure if the rules would still apply to a playoff game, but
Ullman has grounded out twice. Fouls one straight back. Yeah, you'd think this would follow the same general rules, and we are now in the 6th inning. And it's the hardest it has rained yet. And you start to worry about a wet ball in the pitcher's grip. Lined up the middle to second base. Over to Quaysbarth with a big stretch in time. Younger getting it done at second base for the second out of the inning.
Younger does a good job on staying down on that ball. We talked about it that this infield's kind of choppy, and the ball, you get mixed reads off of it, but he stays down on it. It might even have deflected off Shank's glove, but great job by the second baseman. And Quaysbarth, nice little extension on it.
Andy Reef bats for the third time. He started the rally in the fifth inning, singling and scoring. And yeah, Shank might have got a part of that because it looked like it was hit pretty hard off the bat, and it slowed down just enough. Younger could make the play. Missing low, and it's 2-0.
Liberty looking to do whatever they can to get base runners on and to shorten that lead.
Toward right center field and down safely. Liberty has a base runner here in the sixth inning with 2 men out. Reith with back-to-back singles.
He's doing a good job getting on board for the big man, number 19, Jacob Francis, who in his at-bat before sent one long gone over the fence, and Reith's just going with that pitch, hitting it to opposite field, keeping his head down on the ball, and doing what he needs to do to help his team look to close this lead that Rockwood has.
Well, we'll continue talking about the conditions with the rain, and one of the big issues, the ball gets away from the catcher, and he does not advance. Reith staying at first base, although he was being waved toward second by Jacob Francis. Some indecision there on go or stay. I suppose the safe thing to do would be to stay, although it looked like he could have reached second base easily. But you do worry about some of the safety issues. The field has been so dry just because of the conditions, but you worry about the pitcher with a wet ball every time he has it in his hand.
It is. It's tough to put a grip on it, and you know, these players also with the bat, and their grip becomes a little bit slippery, so there are different risks that come along with this rain.
Wet ball, wet bat indeed. And the count goes 0-2. 8-3. Liberty in a hole with 2 outs, trailing by 5 in the top of the sixth inning. Jacob Francis started the scoring for the Jays with a 2-run bomb. And he looks at strike 3. And Liberty not able to get anything going here in the sixth inning. Rockwood Summit will try to add to their lead. Bottom of 6. We're back in a moment. I don't know if George Toma is in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, which is located in Springfield, Missouri. But in honor of George, the grounds crew has done a terrific job getting a little bit of a better playing condition on the mound and around the batter's box, and for the catcher to operate, as we've had pretty good rain over the past 20+ minutes here at Meador Park.
Rain came down pretty well in the top half of the sixth inning. It looks like it's letting up a little bit. Grounds crew came out, put a little turfers down on the pitcher's mound and batter's box just so they can get a little bit better of a grip.
It's kitty litter, right?
Kitty litter, yeah. You know what? There's a lot of things that they call it, but
Beisel, Bamvakis, and Meador, the 3 hitters that will face Hendricks here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 8-3. The Falcons coming in with a 17-9 record, but getting the best of Liberty to this point. Fouled straight back to count 1-1.
Great swing right there by Beisel. You know, that's one sign that you could tell you just barely off the ball is when the ball goes straight back behind you. His timing is pretty good there.
As good as advertised. He's been on base 3 times, a couple of singles, and a walk in between. Great football prospect as well. Gary Pinkel in that lock down the border mentality, no doubt has him on the radar, in addition to Jacob Francis from Liberty, another big fella, underclassman of the Jays.
There's a lot of schools knocking on the door and trying to pull him outside the state lines. Beisel's getting recruited by schools: Illinois, Iowa, Iowa State, and even Urban Meyer and Columbus, Ohio's looking at this bright star.
So weird now. You played at Nebraska from Big 12 now to Big 10, ball 4. Leadoff hitters on. Beisel reaches base, and Missouri making the move to the Big 12. SEC is next. And you talk about Urban Meyer, and he just needed a little bit of a nap in between coaching jobs before he got right back into it.
Well, talk about it. He was at, with the University of Florida, and a winning season is winning a national championship there, and you can understand the stress that comes along with that. And I think sometimes people forget about how stressful it can be to be in a position like that.
And Bamvakis, 1 for 2, shows bunt.
Even with Bamvakis and how hot he's been swinging at this second half of the season, Coach Drage's still looking to play a little bit of small ball game and push one across to do whatever he can to extend this lead and put his team in a better position to win this ball game.
Hendricks checking the runner. Again, shows bunt, pulls back, and it's 2-0.
It's interesting to point out that Liberty's third baseman, he's crashing hard here, and I just noticed how close he was getting right there. And Andy Reith for Liberty, he's getting more than halfway down the line, so I'm sure Coach Draghi might have spotted that and kind of give him a heads up. So if you're Liberty, you got to be aware of maybe he'll show to bunt early, possibly pull back and look to hit something down the line. But the options are unlimited when you're up by 5.
Count goes 3-0. And Bamvakis, a big guy, hitting right under 400, coming into the Final 4. And he takes one right down the middle, 3-1. Just 6 home runs as a team for Rockwood Summit compared to 14 for Liberty. In just a handful of at-bats. Jacob Francis getting his first of the year. Shows bunt again, pulls it back, 3-2. And let's be honest, from the days that you were playing in high school and in college, the bats are dramatically different. They're just not going to fly as far as it did before.
And I'm not going to say that the bats would have hurt my stats at all in playing or anything, but it truly is a game changer. And these bats are hindering maybe the hitter's ability to possibly not hit one as square as before, and the ball would just travel You have to hit the ball more true, and it has definitely stopped possibly, you know, as many home runs as these high school kids have hit in the past. So the game has definitely evolved from that sense.
And changes made at every level because of safety for the pitcher. I mean, he's not 60 feet 6 inches from it. He's 57.5 because he's in front of the rubber. The hitter's bat is in front of the plate, and that ball comes back at them in a hurry. Another bunt attempt is drop foul. Take a Meador, can't keep it in play.
And you're right. And today these pitchers are throwing so hard consistently that it doesn't take much for that ball just to fire right back at them. So the league is doing as much as they possibly can to protect the players, but also still not take the bat out of the hitter's hands.
Would you be in favor of going to some kind of a composite wood bat at all levels?
Absolutely not, because you're asking a hitter to have sympathy for a pitcher. All my life I haven't been a hitter, so I have a hard time ever giving sympathy to a pitcher. But no, it's definitely a topic in discussion.
0-1, squares, pulls it back. And he's down to the count 0-2. 8-3 at Rockwood Summit, leading Liberty here in the 6th inning. Ball in the dirt, and we'll see if they keep that one in play. They will, but one of the balls, because of the weather conditions, the ground is a little bit more moisture than we had a half hour ago.
No, you're right. Hinckley's doing a great job behind the plate too for Liberty. He's been having to work pretty hard back there. A lot of balls in the dirt, but he's keeping everything in front and keeping the runners at their base.
Hendricks 1-2, and it sails back to the screen. The runners will move up. Now second and third, 2 in scoring position. And a base hit here makes it 8-5.
And here's an interesting situation. You have a 2-2 count with runner on second and third, first base open. If you're Liberty, you're not looking to possibly give up anything around the zone. If you walk him, it's okay, because then you get force outs at all bases and you give yourself a double play opportunity. But if I'm Liberty here, I don't think it's a bad thing to look to possibly put him on to first base.
Pardon my bad math. A base hit would make it 8-3 the other way. And the infield comes all the way in. And a ball hit a long way, foul down the line.
This is a big pitch here for Hendricks.
Meador waiting. Stays patient.
He's doing whatever he can to just battle off some of these pitches.
Just stay alive, yeah.
And that's what you have to do, and that's what Rockwood's been doing all game. They've just been playing their roles, doing whatever it takes to score a run, to push a run across, to get a guy on. They have been doing it. That's been their mentality throughout the year.
Infield plays in, all the way around, hit hard right to third, and the play to the plate. Bambakis. Beisel will be tagged out as Bambakis moves up to third base. So Liberty able to get that lead runner and keep one more run off the scoreboard. Nicely played that time, and a shot right to the third baseman, Reith.
No, that ball was just ripped down the line. Reith does a great job of staying down on it and well aware, just getting the ball to Hinckley. And Hinckley does a good job running the runner all the way back to third, because the runner at second obviously occupied third, forcing him no other option. So now you are left with runners on first and third, and I believe it's 2 outs. I'm not sure if the scoreboard is keeping up with us.
Yeah, it's one.
It's 1 out?
Just one out.
Okay, they had one posted before, so.
Daniel Hanks will bat for the first time of the ball game.
A 273 hitter, a senior, looking to expand the lead for his team.
Batting with first and third, 1 out, swings through it.
Hendricks doing anything in his will to keep the score where it's at, keep Liberty within 5 runs, and giving his offense an opportunity to get him right back in this game in the top part of the 7th.
Off speed, and again, Hinckley goes to his right to keep it in front.
He's having to put in work behind the plate today, isn't he?
Whatever they're paying him, they're not paying him enough. He's done a good job back there.
Not to mention it's starting to rain a little bit, so he has mud, and he's definitely getting his playoffs worth.
There's not a catcher on the planet who got into it for the glamour. It's the hard work and the bruises and the scarring that doesn't go away. Hendricks, third to first.
There is
not
something
far from the bags.
If there is something working in the catcher's favor today, it's the cool weather. It's not a typical June 1st day outside. 70 degrees.
And everybody wants to be on the mound in a situation like this. 2-1, he misses wide. This is what you play baseball for throughout high school, is to get that opportunity to play for the championship on Saturday. Waiting for a winner out of the late game coming up. Parkway North and Willard. Parkway North from Creve Coeur, Willard right down the street. Runner is going. They don't throw through, and it's second and third. Hinckley bluffed to throw to second base. May not matter, the count's 3-1.
No, Liberty's going to pull their infield in to eliminate that easy run. They can't afford to really give up any more free bases, so they're going to cut the infield in. Outfield still playing at their normal depth.
Hanks takes ball 4 and the bases are loaded. Another free base given up by Liberty pitching. And Jack Quick, number 9 hitter, the catcher, will step in. He's 0 for 3. He's lined out to center. He's grounded it out to third. And he gets hit into a double play. And Kirk Bragg will jog to the mound for an all-inclusive conference. Everybody will gather on the pitching mound.
Yeah, this could be just a meeting just to let everybody know really what the situations are, that where they could look to go. The middle infield doesn't necessarily have to throw the ball home on a ground ball. They could do their normal double play up the middle, but the corners are definitely going to look to come to the catcher for a force out. But, you know, Liberty's definitely turned it around on the offensive side of the things. They have 9 hits on the scoreboard, and they're not out of this game, so they're going to do anything in their power to really keep that 5-run deficit there and force outs on all bases. And Hendricks is the guy to do it. He's a strikeout pitcher, so their backs aren't completely against the wall.
Hendricks had to come into the game in relief of Spencer Schwant. Quick, the 9-hole hitter, looks at ball 1. And you're right, when you pound that strike zone, the hitters know that you're going to throw a strike, and the fielders are on their toes expecting the ball to be in play.
No, when you're consistently falling behind in the count, you know, as a hitter, that's what you want, because you could start expecting certain pitches. You start to hit on your terms, and on the flip side, defense, it kind of lulls them to sleep a little bit. You have guys maybe put their gloves on their hip. They kind of starting to stiffen up a little bit. So there's a whole lot of things, not so positive things on the defense side when you get behind in counts. And Hendricks looking to turn things around right here with the number 9 hitter, Jack Quick, up to bat.
Whose average gets about an extra 100 points with the infield as far in as they are. Quick takes borderline pitch that's called for a ball, and it's 2-1. Good plate discipline that time. In the air to short center field. Norton will squeeze the tag and the bluff move to the plate. Throw is offline, but the runners do not try to advance. Everybody tagged up, nobody tried to go.
No, that was a good decision, I think, by by Rockwood and just holding him there. That ball was real short in center field, and Liberty center fielder Lucas Norton, he has a pretty darn good arm out there. So, but Hendricks did his job there. Keep the runners where they're at. Nobody hurt.
But this is one guy they haven't been able to figure out since the first time up when Clayton Evans struck out. Since then, 2 singles and a triple. He's hit the ball hard and done a nice job in center field. Facing Hendricks, breaking ball stays up.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough situation for Liberty. Evans, last time up, tripling off the right field wall. Not a big guy, but man, he got it out there.
He did single off Hendricks back in the 5th inning after the pitching change. Miller came in initially to spell Schwant. Hendricks after that. Ripped to left field, the base hit. Another single, another run scored, and it's 9-3. Clayton Evans now 4 for 5, and his Falcons lead it by 5.
10 hits for Rockwood on the scoreboard, and Mr. Evans has 4 of them. And I think Coach Drake, he's asking for an interference call here, but I'm not sure he's going to get it.
Yeah, there was a bit of a collision, the runner going to third base with the infielder. I'm not sure that affected how far they would have advanced, however.
No, Wes Jones out in left field did a great job again closing on that ball and getting it to his cutoff man, so I'm not sure they would have had an opportunity to score regardless, but Liberty's definitely going to go to the bullpen again, and another new arm for the Jays.
Pitching change, Hendricks comes out, Cole Connor coming in. Rockwood Summit not done yet, bottom of 6.
Number 7, Kyle Younger.
Cole Connor, a left-handed pitcher, is the latest for Liberty to come in and try to shut down this Rockwood Summit team that leads the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 9-3 advantage with Kyle Younger batting for the 5th time. He has scored a couple of times on a base hit and a bunt, has a sacrifice to his day as well.
And Coach Bragg going with the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Feels like they'd be a little bit more successful, or at least the odds are in their favor having a lefty come up against another one.
Coming into a spot with no margin for error. Bases loaded here and 2 men out, and he quickly falls behind 3-0. Younger looking for a pitch that he can drive, showing good restraint, not swinging it. You don't have to swing 3-0.
You don't, but you can tell by his reaction he liked that pitch a lot, but
he might not have had the opportunity to swing. 3-1 is not close. Ball 4, and another run is forced in. Another walk given up by this Liberty team.
And it's tough. It's tough as a player, and Liberty's been doing this pretty often throughout the day. Just too many walks have been given, too many free passes, and you just take the gloves out of your defender's hands.
Well, now you get to the point where you start doing the math on the 10-run rule, but we're not going to have to worry about that with a fly ball, foul ground on the first base side, and Ullman able to squeeze it, and they leave them loaded. But 2 more runs has the Falcons from Rockwood Summit in command. It is 10-3 going to the top of the 7th. The Blue Jays 1 more chance, 3 more outs. We're back in a moment.
In left field, number 12, Chris Lefsky.
Back at Meador Park in Springfield with David Belfani. I'm Dave Stewart. It is the top of the 7th inning. Liberty has a lot of work to do if they want to be able to get back to the Class 4 championship game for the 2nd year in a row. Rockwood Summit, the 7-run lead, and we do have a batting change. Nathan Volkman will appear for the first time, and he takes strike 1.
Well, if you're Liberty, it's do whatever you can to get the next guy up while you get on that while you get on the base. And Joe Shank's definitely going to try to interrupt that idea. And not a bad start with the first pitch, a strike, and good-looking curveball right there. But when you have a 7-run cushion, Joe Shank, you're looking to fill up the strike zone, pitch to contact.
Well, Shank did a nice job coming in after Quaysbarth was taken out of the game. Wobbled just a bit after that 8-0 lead, and coming in maybe a little bit too comfortable, but understanding that he just needed to throw strikes, and there were a couple that allowed Liberty to get back on the board. Count goes to 3-1 on Volkman.
We've seen a lot of 3-ball counts today, haven't we?
Volkman, a 6'1" junior, up and in, ball 4. So Liberty has the leadoff batter on base here in the top of the 7th inning, and we'll have a courtesy runner for him. Brady Newland will come back in the game. That's our right fielder.
Well, the 9-hole hitter's done their part on getting on base. And they've done a great job. Now you got the top of the order for the Blue Jays, 1 through 3 up to bat.
Wes Jones with 2 of the Liberty hits. The throw over to first base drives the runner Newland back. Jones singling in the first and again in the 5th. And he takes ball 1.
You know what Joey Shank needs to do here, you attempt a pickoff move there early. He needs to just completely forget about that runner at first and attack the strike zone. You have a 7-run lead. Your job is not to give up free bases. Put the pressure on Liberty to find the holes and let your defense go to work for you.
Now both teams will play tomorrow. One of the consolation game, the other in the championship at 4 o'clock. The 2nd semifinal, Parkway North and Willard. Due to begin at 7 o'clock. There's no guarantee that we start at 7. We're here regardless. Ground ball up the middle. The flip to second base is wild, and everybody will be safe. Maynard with the flip to Younger, trying to get at least the force out at second base. and it rolled wide. That was a difficult play for him to get to, but unable to have the right direction on it.
Meador had a great first step there at shortstop. Did the hard part of covering the ground to get to the baseball. Open hand, then just a little backhand flip, and Younger can't get to it. So runners in scoring position for the Blue Jays with no outs.
Newland advanced to second base after Volkman reached. And Taylor Harmon has the count his way. 1-0. Sacrifice. Walk and a single on his day. Takes strike one.
Liberty with the never say die mentality right now. Do whatever you can to extend the inning.
Foul out of play. Liberty's had some games where they scored a lot of runs this year. Not the same Liberty team offensively that we saw over the last couple of years, but there's 7 guys on this team that are going to play college baseball. They can flat out play it. They're going to go down till that 21st out, giving it all that they have. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off again.
Well, Coach Kirk Bragg for Liberty said that, you know, last year's team, when they made it to the Final Four and eventual runner-ups, that was their best hitting team he's ever had. He said the difference between this team from the 2011 is that there's just more depth, there's more consistency throughout the lineup 1 through 9.
1-2. Looked at, and it's 2-2. Yeah, last year's team broke some of the records that were set by the 2010 team, which was an amazing hitting squad as well. 2-2 to Harmon. Foul behind the plate. Catcher will hustle back to the screen and falls out of play just in one of the bleachers in the big bounce, which is why you better not be texting. You better be watching. You could be eating the baseball there. Play just like that.
Well, you have the overhangs along the first and third base, silent, but here in the middle, there's nothing covering your head, so you got to be aware. And a nice little souvenir for a fan. You always tell where the foul ball goes because you just got all these little kids just sprinting after it. I think there was a dollar bill attached to it.
Nobody out here, top of the 7th inning, 2-2, and again battling it off, and nice job by Taylor Harmon just fighting for his life. And you saw the man with a baseball there with a Missouri Tiger hoodie, and of course your brother will be playing for Mizzou in the NCAA tournament and late night game in Arizona. Congrats to Missouri for winning the Big 12 Conference tournament down in Oklahoma City. Another foul out of play.
Yep, Missouri will be taking on the University of Arizona at their home ballpark. 10 o'clock tonight our time, 8 o'clock their time. And
the game that starts later than our second semifinal game by a bunch. Are your parents there? Are they going to watch it on online or on TV?
They're going to watch it on TV.
Yeah.
And trust me, my mom was trying to twist my dad's arm to go to Arizona, but he wasn't budging.
3-2, the count on Taylor Harmon. And this may be 7th or 8th pitch of the inning. He's fouled off several pitches here. Popped up in the air and again out of play behind. So Harmon and his Liberty Blue Jays not going quickly or easily, or without making a bunch of noise here in the 7th inning. They're down by 7. It's a 10-3 game with Joey Schenk out of the bullpen. And he takes ball 4. How about that for an at-bat? And Liberty has loaded the bases with nobody out in the top of the 7th.
Activity going on in the Rockwood bullpen along the first base line. Coach Drake, you going to come out and talk to his pitcher Joe Schenk, trying to calm him down. And we're going to have a pitching change.
Well, Schenk did a nice job. He came in the 5th inning. After Brian Quaisbarth started to wobble just a little bit with a big lead and made a difference as they limited the damage. We'll come back and talk about the pitching change for Rockwood Summit, leading Liberty 10-3, top of the 7th. Bases loaded, nobody out. Top of the 7th inning, hair on fire. Rockwood Summit leads Liberty 10-3, but the Blue Jays have loaded the bases. Newland, Jones, and Harmon on base. Rudy May had to come in and try to close this thing off, and part of the reason, I suspect, is that Nathan Winfrey, with his softball slow pitch average of nearly 500, is the batter where you don't want a ball over the fence or off the wall at this point.
He's the leading home run hitter for Liberty with 6 on the year, and coming up with bases loaded is a definite dangerous situation.
May starts to Winfrey by throwing ball 1. He is singled. He has flied out to right field and reached on a fielder's choice. Takes ball 2. Another pitch up and in.
You know, May's kind of a bulky looking pitcher. You know, this guy, he's a 3-sport athlete: baseball, football, wrestling, 5th in state in wrestling. So he fits the part.
May again misses inside, and it's 3-0. Nowhere to put Nathan Winfrey with the bases loaded here. May's earned run average, you saw it before, it's under 1. As he looks toward the sky, finding a solution to get a strike. Just finding the inside corner that time, and it's 3-1.
Chris Drake, he's throwing all he has out there. I mean, the 3 pitchers that have thrown today, Quays, Barth, Shank, and May, they consume 80% of the innings pitched this year for Rockwood. And
there's a shot to shortstop and a double play. And the inning changes dramatically. You talk all you want about, you know, make sure you see a line drive go through, but a ball hit that hard, glove side for the shortstop back toward the bag, and I'm not sure there was a heck of a lot that the runner could have done at second base.
No, if you're Winfrey, you can't hit the ball any harder, and even if Jones does stay put, I think Meador beats him to the bag. I mean, his momentum was carrying him to the second base, and what a difference maker right there. That definitely kills the momentum that Liberty had, and when you're down 7, you need a lot of things to work for you, and unfortunately that's not the route you look to have.
So from bases loaded and nobody out to first and third with 2 men out, and Todd Hinckley, the senior catcher, has done an amazing job behind the plate, and a very busy day behind the plate. It is up to him to keep this inning alive.
Tell you what, Rudy's not shy to take his time up there. He's gonna pitch on his terms.
We got nowhere to be. We can wait. Misses wide. Hinckley 1 for 3 on the day with a single back in the 4th. He's flown out to center and grounded into a double play. Runners going. Rockwood Summit doesn't care. But it does take away that force at second base. Rudy May's pre-pitch routine has been consistent. He looks skyward on every pitch, which on a rainy day, it might make it a little bit more challenging to look up and catch an eye full of rain, although it may have stopped. Off speed, misses wide.
Well, Rudy's been a strong relief pitcher throughout the season for Rockwood, and I know Coach Draghi was looking to use him or Shank in today's ball game, but when you get to playoff time, you have to pull out everything. You have to play one game at a time and do whatever it takes to advance to the next one.
2-1 Hinckley fouls it out of play, left field side.
1 pitch away. The fans of Rockwood are on their feet and clapping and cheering their team on to advance to a state championship game.
Different emotions on each side of the field. Rudy May tries to muster a little extra on his fastball, but misses inside. Count goes 3-2.
The Jays doing whatever they can to get that next batter up.
Lucas Norton would be next if Hopefully can extend the inning and May taking too much time. Norton Hinkley will step out and now back in. 3-2 pitch. Pop in the air. Left field side. The shortstop, Meador, squeezes it. And Rockwood Summit from a trip to the Final Four for the first time to a trip to the title game for the first time. The Falcons advance, beating Liberty 10-3 in an impressive performance here in a Class 4 semifinal. 10-3, Rockwood Summit beats Liberty. Final thoughts coming up as we return to Meador Park in Springfield. Back in a moment. And a big day in Fenton, Missouri, in the St. Louis side of the state. Rockwood Summit advancing to the Missouri Class 4 Championships for the very first time, beating Liberty, a 27-win Blue Jay team. 10-3 the commanding final. David, you saw that 5 spot in the 4th inning. That was really the big difference, and walks playing a key role. Liberty pitching giving far too many free bases.
Well, first Final Four appearance for Rockwood, and they're going to continue writing history. They're on to the state championship game and looking one step closer to that state title.
The Willard Tigers and Parkway North Vikings are coming up next for the right to play. Our semifinal winner, Rockwood Summit, beating Liberty by a final of 10-3. With David Belfani and producer-director Joe Novacek and our entire Time Warner Cable Metro Sports crew from Meador Park in Springfield, I'm Dave Stewart. Good night.